truth, yeah, ruthless truth. Get down, it could go bad for you. Hit like, comment, subscribe, you know what to do. Be cool, city lights shining so bright. Fine dining nights feels right. Flights to places far from sight. Get right, ruthless truth, yeah, ruthless truth. Get down, it could go bad for you. In the city where we move, stay cool. Underneath the neon glow, life is fast but take it slow. Every moment like a show. Let's go. Dancing through the night, we got energy flows we can't hide. Feel alive, we outside. Moments fleeting but we shine. In this rhythm we align. Time flies. Moments fleeting but we shine. In this rhythm we align. Time flies. Ruthless fleeting but we shine. In this rhythm we align. Time flies. Ruthless truth, yeah, ruthless truth. Get down, it could bad for you. In the city where we move, stay cool. Stay cool.
Hey, nobody bigger than the program.
Top of the morning, or bottom of the morning, I should say. YouTube, what's up? What's good? Back to bring the smoke to those who want the smoke. But today, because I did a show last night on men should have multiple women and things like that. And who came and pushed back? The married men came and pushed back. They came and said, oh, no, you shouldn't have multiple women. Oh, you should get married. Oh, this is the nuclear family, da, da, da. Because you know why they say that? They don't want to see you happy. They want to see you miserable like them. And this is why married people are liars. And you don't fall for that okie doke. Right? I'm thinking men should live their best life. Dude, these married men who are in these relationships or these marriages are miserable. And they want to come on here and tell everybody, hey, be like me. Be a happy wife, happy life nigga. Let that bitch run the house as long as my food is cooked. These bitches are wearing the pants in these marriages because they got all the leverage and they know it. And they don't want to tell you that because they don't want to seem like they made a mistake, and they don't want to seem like they made a fool of or got suckered into something. So they're trying to take as many with them as they can. These niggas ain't telling the truth. The truth is they can't stand their wives. These men want, these married people want you to fall for this illusion of happiness. When the truth is, a lot of these married couples don't get along. They don't. It's a war zone in the house. Everybody walking on pins and needles. But then they want to come on here and tell a single man, hey, well, you don't need to go out here and having all these women. You need to get married. Huh? But when we look at the numbers of women coming out saying, fuck y'all, I'm divorcing him because I just don't like him no more. They thinking they thinking we foolish. We are speaking our truth. We are living in our truth as single people, a people of a life beyond marriage. We're saying nobody wants to get into that institution. Nobody wants to be a part of something that is obviously a failure in this country and across the world. If you really look at the numbers, marriages are failing. And then they come with a lie that, oh, if you marry, it's easier to gain resources. No, it's not. Because when you marry, you have a bill. She's your responsibility. And she's going to eat up resources. So it's going to take you longer to get to your goal or wherever the goal is. right? But men sacrifice that because, they don't think they can live with that woman. They think that they need that woman to make them whole. And this is just a bad advice that married people are coming on here giving, not telling the truth about, okay, I'm unhappy. I admit it. I don't like that my wife, argues with me every day about dumb shit and that we can't have healthy conversations. It's her way or the highway. You don't want to be truthful about that. They don't want to tell you that they failed because nobody wants to be a failure, right? Nobody wants to appear they chose wrong. Everybody wants to look like I did the right thing. But in essence, most married people regret that they got married. This is why a lot of women are coming out speaking, like Aisha Curry, Jada Pinkett, et cetera, et cetera. They're coming on these podcasts saying, I regret marrying this nigga. I regret it. Women are speaking their fucking mind. And the married men are trying to cover it up and saying, well, you got to choose better. What's up, IB Rody? Welcome to the show. And this is what the married men are trying to do. They're trying to cover up these married women's complaints and say, oh, choose better. Be better. When the fact of the matter is they chose wrong and don't want to admit it. And not that saying they chose the wrong woman. I believe they chose the wrong lifestyle. They really regret they can't go out with their friends no more and have a good time at the bowling alley. Get some beers. Can't do that. When you get married, you're trapped, nigga. It's like going to prison. And y'all remember back in the day how the homies, soon as they got a girl they really like, all of a sudden that nigga stopped hanging out with us. Hey man, we finna go play basketball. Nah, man, my toe, my big toe. Marriage is something very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Now, if you want to get married, if you feel marriage is something that's for you, then roll the dice. But make sure that you understand that what you're getting yourself into is something that has a high level of failure. Because why? Because women, they change, they switch. And it's very difficult to build on love and trust when feelings and emotions are changing every so often. And a lot of women are pushing back to their husbands. They don't want their husbands to lead anymore. They want the leadership position. They want to control. They want access to that phone so they can check their phone when they want to. The one you're paying the bill for. So I'm going to bring up this video. I got this video. Good video here. You know what I mean? And we're gonna see exactly why this married people are liars.
I think marriage laws is value is piggybacking on the fact that people just don't value people anymore. And I think anything that's involving interaction with people is going to suffer. And I think people just don't value each other like they used to, and they look at each other as expendable, and it's become very transactional. I just think there's just a lack of genuine care for just humanity. Everything is there's no more conversation. It's emojis. It's like we just desensitized to human interaction. And I think any relationships is going to show the fruits of that, and marriage is no different.
So I have to agree with Ty. When I first heard the question, I was like, neither one. But I have to agree with Ty. But
I totally agree with it philosophical. It's a disrespect thing in general that people just don't get along as much more because especially the women that have so much more voice now, They feel more important than they used to feel, and they need to, thrive in this. And by them thriving in their self-importance, they neglect the union of happiness between their husband, because they feel that I need to be heard more. I need more attention. I need more this. Women are trying to climb on the level of men. And more times than not, this affects the marriage. It affects the kids. Because why? Because now the disgruntledness, most homes are divided. And they're divided because, it's a conflict of interest when it comes to power dynamics or how the relationship of the house should be ran. So I agree. I'm gonna rewind that. I'm gonna rewind that a little bit because I want to touch on that a little bit more.
And it's become very transactional. I just think there's just a lack of genuine care for just humanity. Everything is,
and that's a fact. It's become so much transactional. It's always been transactional, but it's become more transactional, right? And this is another word for transactional is superficial. A lot of people, when they get married, are superficial. They become more superficial. It's no longer, I'm marrying you because of your personality and your character. They looking at, can you provide for them the things that they need, which is a lot of it's financial, some of it's emotional, but the most of it's financial. And that's superficial. And this is why marriages don't last long. This is why it's very difficult, because it's very hard to build a foundation on superficiality and disingenuous behavior, right? It's hard to build because now you're constantly fighting, you're constantly arguing about gender roles, right? And you're constantly trying to make it work, which is, listen, I'm not saying that that's not important. Yeah, that is. But when you have to do it where at the end you still lose, the divorce papers are still coming across that table. Your kids have been shipped off into another home under new leadership. It's not the best optimal situation. It's just not.
so there's no more conversation. It's emojis. It's like we just desensitized to human interaction. And I think any relationships is going to show the fruits of that. And marriage is no different.
So I have to agree with Ty. When I first heard the question, I was like, neither one. But I have to agree with Ty. But the thing is that people are too afraid of marriage. People don't value it anymore because they see more value in being single. Because
And why is that? Why do people find more value in being single? Because your peace is more protected. You don't have to worry about dumbass arguments. When you come home, open your door from work, and click your TV on, you ain't got to worry about nobody talking about where you been, why you didn't call. You ain't got to worry about all these stupid arguments that hijack your emotions. You may have a good time, you may be feeling good, but as soon as you go in the house, there's problems. And let's be real. 95, 96% of the households are hostile. And it's the fact that we have to try to cover it up. The married people try to cover it up. But the divorce rate tells us a different story. There are 1 million divorces a year, and women are filing 800,000 of them. It tells a story. It says that they're saying, fuck that, I'm out. Because I'm not happy here. And to try to live for somebody else's happiness is a motherfucking death sentence. I'd rather live for my own happiness. I'd rather do me. I'd rather treat myself. Right? then treated somebody else who's unappreciative. And a lot of this comes with unappreciation, right? The partner not showing appreciation for the other one's work ethic. And this is where you get a lot of division, and a lot of fighting, a lot of disconnected, and then the communication breaks down. This is why you can't listen to married people, man. They're worse.
Because they're too afraid of what might happen. Every single time you hear the word marriage, you will hear divorce soon after. Men do it on this panel every time I hear anything about marriage. Every single time you hear about marriage, you hear about divorce. And what that tells me is that you are afraid that you are going to fail, because anyone that thinks that they are going to succeed, anyone that knows that they will succeed in it and do everything to succeed in it, and this goes for men and women, they will not be afraid of divorce when thinking about marriage. Those things don't go together. Divorce does not go with marriage when we're having that conversation, but all too often, that is the only thing that men don't want to get married because women keep divorcing them. If you go into marriage thinking that it's going to work out, then it will. Because
Now, don't believe that lie. Don't believe that lie. Now, I ain't saying that ain't no guarantee for you guys not to work out, but you know, most people who married, they think that shit gonna last forever. Most people, when they get married, they think this is it. Most men, when they put that ring on that girl's finger, and they pay for that expensive ass wedding, and they get her that Gucci bag she always wanted, this is it for them. They said, this is who I'm going to be with. So nobody's going in saying, oh, I know it's going to end. But what we do have to realize, and do we have to understand, this is a day and age of information. We got Google, we got the social media platform, and we can look at this and evaluate and see if this is the best method for us. And through all these numbers and all this chaos, a lot of people in marriages are getting divorced. If not divorced, a lot of women are complaining, and the men are complaining that, you know, there's a lack of communication, sexless marriages, happy wife, happy life. Who the fuck want to sign up for some shit like that? And so what we can do by the numbers is it tells you a pattern. Number shows a pattern from the 60s to now, right? If there's always been a problem with communication in these institutions of marriage, then there has to be something to that number. And it tells a story of, you know what? The chances, if I get married, if I walk down that aisle with this woman, is she going to be the same person now in 5 years? Is this love really going to last? Do people change? And those are the type of questions you have to ask yourself. Is this person that I'm in love with, is they going to change? Are they going to love me forever like this? Is this possible? Is it possible for us not to argue and get along? Because if you really think about it, it should be the easiest thing in the world to get along with the one you love. It should be. But the fact is, it's not. It's not. I believe the more people get married, the more relationships form, the more problems there is. And the divorce rates don't lie. People, and then we go to these panels and we listen to these people, and all we hear is negative, negative, negative. And then after all the negative, they say, hey, go find you one. Choose better. Vet, court. But what does vetting and courting and choosing got to do with a person may change on you? So they may be one way in year 3, 4, 5, and be another way in 5, 6, 7. So there's no guarantees to this shit. It's a fucking gamble. So you're telling me to gamble with my life? When you marry, you're taking a gamble and hoping that this deal is going to be remain intact and that we're going to grow to a place of happiness, a place at least that we can get along and ride out the sunset with. You know, that's the objective of marriage, right? After we raise our kids, after we accomplish our dreams together, fight off the world together, we want to ride off into the sunset, having great conversations, reminiscing on the past. Yeah, we're gonna have a little disagreements here and there. All right, but yeah, we don't. But it's not so extreme because I love you, and you love me, and this is the way it's supposed to be. But in reality, it's never that way. Women are divorcing at 20 years. Men are divorcing at 10, 12 years. Then the people who are together, they're talking about, you know, a lot of people are staying married because it's for the kids. A lot of people are staying married for you know, because they don't know what else to do. They're miserable. And we hear story after story after story. And this is why it's just so hard to say, oh, well, hey, let's get married. In my opinion, marriage is very honorable. It's a very honorable thing. It is something that I take very, very motherfucking serious. So it's just no way I'm going to marry a quitter. If I see a woman is breaking up with me for dumb shit, arguing me for dumb shit in a regular relationship and acting certain behaviors, I'm not going to tie my wagon to that because I don't believe in divorce. I believe we marry, we die till death. I really believe that. So I'm not going to just sit up here and marry someone because, oh, I just feel my life is, I need to be married. When I need, you know, I just don't believe that. Truthfully, the reason why I won't get married, though I don't think marriage is honorable, the reason why I won't do it because I just think that it's hard for someone to maintain the type of union to get along. And that to me, my peace and my mental health is important to me. And I got to be selfish about that. So if we having a relationship and we can't get along, you best believe I'm shipping you. I'm not marrying you. I'm letting you know we're never going to make it because if I see the flags of you not showing that you can maintain a healthy union between me and you, there's no way I'm going to take that step into that threshold because my happiness is important to me. I'm not here to live for your happiness. Either you happy with the way I am and I'm happy the way you are, or we just can't be together. But I'm not, my job as a man is not to make you happy. That's not my job. My job is to get along with you. Yeah, that is part of it. And that we can be, you know, union, but I'm not trying to make you happy. I just want to be with you because I love you. That's it, right? And that's it. And I want you to return that sentiment. And the things we do feel, because it's all conditional. Let's keep it real. It's all conditional. Ain't no shit just, oh, we just love each other just because. No, it's conditional. Contingent on so sex is good. It's contingent on, you know, financial, for the women, more financial. For the men, more about, you know, respect. More about his compatibility. All these things are important. But what makes me, I wouldn't say upset, but makes me concerned is why so many married people are lying about their situations. I would respect them more than just tell the truth, say, yeah, you know, I'm miserable here, but I'm doing it for the kids. Just say that. Just say that. Don't come to me telling them, oh, well, yeah, I'm married for 40 years. Okay, was you married? Was it a healthy marriage? And that's where I'm getting at. That's my motherfucking stance. Being married, okay, but is it a healthy marriage? And I believe with the happy wife, happy life sentiment and the sexless marriages and all this arguing and shit, they're not healthy. So a lot of people just stay in there because for some people it's financially practical. For others, it's I'm too old, I stayed too long. But the women aren't giving a fuck. They filing. I'm out this bitch. I don't give a fuck. There's women filing divorce at 40-something years old. Talking about, and then they come out with the demand. He needs to make this. He needs to do that.
We have lost the value in serving. I don't know why the fuck you're doing that. But we go into these things not being servants of each other. Both parties are wanting to take something. You go into it, you see marriage as something that you're supposed to get from someone. And you're
everybody uses everybody. That's just part of the game. But what she doesn't understand is when you marry, you are using each other. You still wanted something from each other. But the thing about in the women, they not reciprocating. Right? Reciprocity is almost as dismal for the women to return to the men. Because let's face it, men pay for pretty much everything with their money and their time. And by the time they get married, they're in quite a bit. This is why men don't divorce as much. That's part of the reason. Is we're in quite a bit of money investment in this union. Then we get in there, the women, they shut down. They become more selfish. They want to make the whole motherfucking marriage about them. They want to make everything about them. And this is where the problems come. This is where we start having the division of the house. Because now the man has to go along to get along. And the kids got to pick sides. And this is just an unhealthy situation for all parties involved.
You're actually supposed to be giving to your partner. If you are not giving to your partner and you're only taking from your partner, that marriage is not going to work. Take. You are going to get divorced, period. If you go in it with a servant mindset, that's how you can succeed.
Well, I speak to a lot of men, and I actually make a living doing it. So what I hear, men are not just hearing marriage and then divorce. Men are actually listening to women because they're being more vocal about how they feel and what they will threaten to do within a marriage if things don't go their way and if they're not happy. It's just a matter of men are just fucking listening. It ain't got shit to do with all divorce. No, you're telling us on all the fucking platforms all over fucking social media that you will pull the plug, you will create an action strategy, you will walk away. Sister, if it ain't right, get out of there. We hear that shit. And we're not foolish enough to just get into it without thinking about the things that we've heard. It's a matter of y'all being more vocal and exercising the exit plan. That's what it's about. And the probability corroborates what y'all are saying. So our logical thinking tells us to just connect the fucking dots. Like, yeah, they're pulling the plug on it whenever they don't want to be in it. So it behoove you whenever you fucking step to the altar with one of these women to be able to compensate for the fact that she would do that.
And I also think that men are not just running away
And that's a motherfucking great point, Boozer. The women are vocalizing that they're quitters. If it don't go their way, have a motherfucking nice day. And this is why married people are liars. Because they will come and say, oh, well, choose better, be better. What you don't understand is how it doesn't matter. Y'all could get married and then she can still leave. Or he can still leave. But mostly she'll leave because women, why do women leave more than men? Let's talk about that, right? Why do women have a tendency to file more than men? A lot of it's because they have very low investments financially and physically. So when they evaluate whether they're going to leave or not, they look at, well, hey, I put in 3-4 grand in like 10 years, pay for a couple anniversaries, and got a couple birthday gifts. Then I don't love them no more. I don't have my feelings have changed. I get the kids, and he's going to have to give me money. It incentivizes, when they're evaluating through their little mind, that, hey, I have a woman, if she leaves her husband, she has everything to gain and nothing to lose. That's why they'll file quicker. That's why they're more to do it, because they have very low investment in these relationships. See, men, we think about it too, but then we got a lot of money tied up. We got a lot of our time tied up. Plus, we got kids. And men also, we rather have our family together than apart. But women, they don't too much care about that. They don't care about the family being together. And this is why they go to the divorce court more than the men. Because they don't have a problem with blowing this motherfucker up, because they're saying to themselves, I can always start over. I can get a replacement dad, right? This is the stepdaddy thing they talk about, right? The stepdads. And this is facts, right? This is facts. Women will evaluate. She probably got a nigga in the friend zone. He's probably been in the friend zone for 5-6 years. And, and now she's looking to leave you. And in her mind, she says, you know what? I can get all these things with or without him. And I got his replacement right in order. And this is the sentiment. This is what they're saying on these platforms. They're yelling at, hey, I will pull the plug on you, nigga. I will get rid of you and replace you as a dad, as a husband. And women love having that power. I guarantee if the laws was to change and saying that women can no longer file for divorce, I guarantee there'll be outrage. There'll be women all over the motherfucking world protesting, crying. Just like when the federal government took them off the titty. Oh, we're not going to give, you guys can no longer get abortions on our account. They went crazy. They lost their mind. Oh, women haters. Da, 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 da. Because women like having the power. They like having the power to destroy. And they love to implement it whenever they feel is needful.
From marriage, but running away from marriage in America. I don't think it's the same as running away from marriage altogether. I think men are a little hesitant to marry American women.
I have to agree with Bo. I think that marriage is losing its value because people aren't valuing their roles in a marriage. Women don't want to take on our traditional roles as wives and mothers. And for some reason, we have been led to believe that you cannot be fulfilled as a wife and a mother. Okay. Motherhood only lasts until those kids are grown, the hands-on part of it. I have adult children, so I'm very much still a mom to them, but it's not hands-on. They don't need me like my young kids do. That was a blip in time. And one of the things I regret from my adult children to my young children now is that I wasn't able to be home with them every day, raising them, getting to know them on that deeper level that you get when you are at home. We as women today have been modernized to think that that's not good enough. You should be doing more. You're being oppressed if you're staying at home with your kids all day. And so marriage loses its value because no one wants to do their job. No company works without the structure and the hierarchy in place. The secretary is only valued because she fills her secretarial role. The CFO is only valued because he's keeping the finances in order. So why marriage isn't valued is because Men don't feel valued as husbands, and women don't want to be wives and mothers anymore.
Excellent point.
And she spoke truth. Women no longer value men. So this is why you don't get married. This is why you live your best life. Don't be with somebody who don't want to be with you in the end. Because in the beginning, they're only using you. Now, we all using each other, but they're using you for means of short term. Right? These women are looking at you as short-term investment. And us men are looking at them as long-term investments. And that's a fact. We have to understand, right, that because the current construct that we're in, that the laws value women, and women take those laws as value, and then they make money, and then they take that money and they value themselves more, but also their beauty or whatever else they think they have. And they say, I could do better. I want to be better. And they will get rid of everything and everybody that's in their path if they think that that person is holding them back, including their husbands. These women are savage. They will not care if they feel that this marriage is not going where they want it to go. They will up and leave. And it ain't about money all the time. It's about what they want. It's about how they feel. And this is why I think marriage is a bad deal, because you can't control nobody's emotions. You can't guarantee that they're not going to have these feelings. And with all the outside influences today, such as social media, friend groups, work husbands, and all these different things that are influential, it's very difficult to try to protect your house as a man, because all these things are going to be pulling at her. Social media is going to be pulling at her. Her friend group's going to be pulling at her. The work husband, he's going to be pulling at her. Then her ego is going to be pulling at her. Remember, because there's outside influences, but she also has internal conflict. And the outside influence only validates those internal conflicts. And it would then give her enough fuel to walk with no problem. I don't care how much you did for her. I don't care how many times you told her, I love you. I don't care how many times you took her to the park and made sure she was okay. I don't care how much work you put in when y'all was dating, how you used to, put your jacket on the ground so she could walk over a puddle. What the question comes in when it's dealing with her, what have you done for me lately? Fuck the past, nigga. These women don't give a fuck about the past. It's all about now, here, now, and the future. And they don't value, because women don't value men the way they used to, they're very subject to be, walking away. Because you know why they walk away? Because they would challenge the dynamics of the relationship. They want to wear the pants. They want to run the show. They want to call the shots. They don't want to stay at home. They want to go out and be breadwinners. You know why women want to work while they're married? Because they want that power to say, I don't need you, nigga. If you don't get on my nerves, if you don't do what I say, I have my own money. I have my own career. Nigga, if you don't do what I want you to do to make me happy, I'm gonna get rid of you. It's a what you call a it's what you call a get out of jail free card. Right? That job is their get out of jail free card. And if they're a stay-at-home mom, They're only going to be a stay-at-home mom if you're very, very wealthy or very, very rich, have a lot of money. And then now, once again, right, now they can leave you and get alimony, and that's their get out of jail free card. And granted, has America made a mistake when they made these laws? Yes. Because now that you're giving women all this power to leave the home and destroy everything, you just don't have no happy home anymore. This is why the divorce rate is where it's at. I mean, hey, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. These women are saying, we're unhappy, we want more, we need more, and we're going to do more. And that means, if it means break our family up to make sure that our happiness is fulfilled, oh, the fuck well. Who going to check me, boo?
I want to pick back off that and just say that we also have to, we like to focus on the women, and I 100% agree with you that a lot of women nowadays are more modernized and they don't see the value in being a mother and a wife. But I also think there are a lot of men that don't see a value in being a husband. I don't think they also want the responsibility of it, right? There are a lot of men.
And she's absolutely right. We don't see the value in being a husband because the women don't value us the same. They're so easy to leave us. If we know that you guys are saying that you guys are going to pull the plug anytime you guys feel like it, that means you don't value us the same way you used to. So why would we take that bad deal? I'm going to go back to Boozier's part, because he said a gym, right? Boozier dropped a gym, right? And I think it's very valuable for us to look at this, right?
Marriage, thinking that it's going to work out, then it will. Because we have lost the value in serving. I don't know why the fuck you're doing that. But we go into these things not being servants of each other. Both parties are wanting to take something. You go into it, you see marriage as something that you're supposed to get from someone, and you're actually supposed to be giving to your partner. If you are not giving to your partner and you're only taking from your partner, that marriage is not going to work. Take. You are going to get divorced, period. If you go in it with a servant mindset, that's how you can succeed.
But I speak to a lot of men, and I actually make a living doing it. So what I hear, and men are not just hearing marriage and then divorce. Men are actually listening to women because they're being more vocal about how they feel and what they will threaten to do within a marriage if things don't go their way, and if they're not happy. It's just a matter of men are just fucking listening. It ain't got shit to do with divorce. No, you're telling us on all the fucking platforms all over fucking social media that you will pull the plug, you will create an action strategy, you will walk away. Sister, if it ain't right, get out of there. We hear that shit. And we're not foolish enough to just get into it without thinking about the things that we've heard. It's a matter of y'all being more vocal and exercising the exit plan. That's what it's about. And the probability corroborates what y'all are saying. So our logical thinking tells us to just connect the fucking dots. Like, yeah, they're pulling the plug on it whenever they don't want to be in it. So it behoove you whenever you fucking.
No, I didn't delete your comment. I didn't delete no comments. Maybe one of the moderators did. But I agree with this, and this is a fact. Good morning, lady. Zyrax. Women are vocalizing their superpowers. They're saying, nigga, if you don't do what I say the way I want you to do it, I'm out on you. And women love exercising their power. That even means if it destroys the family. Because women they are ruled by their emotions and the way they feel. I'll say this over and over again, right? What's up, Zoom Zoom? This is very important. We need to really dissect that. When the emotions, because I'm going to do a whole show on the breakdown of emotions versus logic, right? And a lot of people need to understand emotions and logic don't go together. They are on two separate ends of the spectrums. So what's logical, what you normally logical would do in a lot of situations is your day-to-day on, like, for example, you get up every day, go to work, come home, and then you have, whatever it is. But now somebody cuts you off on the freeway, right? Which triggers an emotional, which is anger. Now you're see guys, people chasing people down on the freeway, fighting people on the freeway because they got cut off. When logically they know that ain't stupid because they can lose their job, they can go to jail. But when they're emotional about it, they fuck logic. I need to rectify this shit. No, emotional intelligence is not real. It doesn't have, emotional intelligence doesn't exist. You're either emotional because, let me say this. Emotional intelligence means you understand things, right? You can have a intelligent conversation about things. Emotions is opposite of intelligence. So they don't go together, right? They don't go together because nobody can understand why they act the way they act when they get emotional. Like, for example, why do people get mad when they get cut off on the freeway? Why are they triggered? Even though they go to classes, they see therapists about these anger management issues, about these things. They seek professional help because they don't understand themselves. Why I get triggered when this happens? The doctor tell them all, give them breathing exercises. They're trying to give them some sort of advice. So emotional intelligence isn't real. We could debate this, Zarax, you will lose. So back to the point, right? The reason why emotional intelligence, emotions and logic don't go together, this is why men and women have a hard time living together in homes. This is why there's such a divorce rate is so high. This is why women are leaving so much. Because when men try to come in with a logical and reasoning to their emotional roller coaster, they reject it. The emotions will reject logic. This is why you can't take, if a girl's crying about being fat, you can't tell her she's fat. You have to say, well, we'll figure it out. Right? Because if you tell her she's fat, it's gonna be a hostile environment. Even though she knows you're right. Even though she knows it's logical. Even though she knows the solution. But emotions, trigger of anger, sadness, depression, they're negative, right? And some of it's positive, happiness or joy. But typically, so you walk into somebody and they're crying, it's a negative emotion. Typically. And you cannot logically solve that shit. Because at the moment you do, you would create a problem. But back to the remnant of divorce. This is why men aren't marrying and women should not marry. I think marriage should be, man, whew. But they're not married because women are saying with a loud voice, we will leave you if we can't have our way. Then Miss Mono says women don't want to accept their gender roles in the relationship. They want to be the bosses. They want to be boss bitches. How? Right? They want to know. But I'm the boss bitch. you know, and this is a problem with, you know, conflict of interest, right? Because you can't have two bosses. So women don't want to accept those things. They don't. And this is why they're leaving. This is why they're out of there.
Step to the altar with one of these women to be able to compensate for the fact that she would do that.
And I
It's just
also think that men are not
inattention.
just running away from marriage, but running away from marriage in America. I don't think it's the same as running away from marriage altogether. I think men are a little hesitant to marry American women.
I have to agree with Bo. I think that marriage is losing its value because people aren't valuing their roles in a marriage. Women don't want to take on our traditional roles as wives and mothers. And for some reason, we have been led to believe that you cannot be fulfilled as a wife and a mother. Okay. Motherhood only lasts until those kids are grown, the hands-on part of it. I have adult children, so I'm very much still a mom to them, but it's not hands-on. They don't need me like my young kids do. That was a blip in time. And one of the things I regret from my adult children to my young children now is that I wasn't able to be home with them every day, raising them, getting to know them on that deeper level that you get when you are at home. We as women today have been modernized to think that that's not good enough. You should be doing more. You know, you're being oppressed if you're staying at home with your kids all day. And so marriage loses its value because no one wants to do their job. No company works without the structure and the hierarchy in place. The secretary is only valued because she fills her secretarial role. The CFO is only valued because he's keeping the finances in order. So why marriage isn't valued is because men don't feel valued as husbands and women don't want to be wives and mothers anymore.
Excellent point.
I want to piggyback off that and just say that we also have to, we like to focus on the women, and I 100% agree with you that a lot of women nowadays are more modernized and they don't see the value in being a mother and a wife. But I also think there are a lot of men that don't see a value in being a husband. I don't think they also want the responsibility of it, right? There are a lot of men that would rather live the bachelor lifestyle all of their lives and not have to worry about really taking care of the family and, you know, having that discipline to actually be the leader of a household. I think nowadays, especially within my generation, that's just not common. They don't have that. They didn't see that. They don't want to be that, or they don't know how to be that. And then once they are thrown into those situations, it becomes overwhelming for both parties. That's why I go back to, it's not only a lack of people valuing marriage, it's also just a lack of discipline all the way around.
Or not learning. Like you said, they didn't see it. So it'd be the same thing with like a woman who didn't have a father growing up. You didn't see it, so you just don't know what to do. Yeah.
I'll answer it like this. I like what you said, Ty. The only part that I push back on is that I do not believe it's so much a lack of discipline. And I've said this several times on this panel. We keep trying to make it seem like marriage is a one-to-one thing, and it's not. It never was that from the beginning of time. It's always been a family community thing. Why it does not work currently is because there's no benefit for most men to marry most women, and the same goes vice versa. Because what typically kept marriage together was that both parties were incentivized to build this union. It wasn't never on an individual level. What our community likes to do is we like to date marriage, like marriage date. We think marriage is like dating, and it's not. Marriage is an entire ecosystem. Like prior to you getting with that woman or that man, you are literally inheriting family. That's why marriage don't work now, especially in America, because we do not value family. There is no family. Everybody mad at each other. Folks don't know how to reconcile. Folks don't have any tools to be able to disagree in love and peace. So what you find is that you got this union that's
called conflict resolution. And we do got it, but nobody want to exercise it, especially the women, right? They don't want to exercise this, and once again, a lot of this comes from outside influence and internal conflict. That's where it comes from. And this is why it's very difficult to have a healthy home. when you have all these things going on. Because the man, he has to go out and work, bring all his money back. Money just ain't falling out the sky. Money just ain't falling out the air. He has to go out and get it and bring it back. And when he comes home, he's faced with another hurdle. He's faced with it. So this is why don't fall for the okie doke. I'm telling you, don't do it. Live your best life. Do not get a wife. Because it's not worth it. Listen to these conversations. The women are admitting, oh yeah, we don't want to be gender. We want to have our way. Oh yeah, we'll pull a plug on your ass. Why do you even got to go into that? We ain't even got to deal with that. You ain't even got to torture yourself. If we just stay single and like the mingo. Because the one thing, you ain't going to hurt you. Right? You ain't going to complain about you. Now, you might always want to better yourself, right? And push yourself. But you're not too much going to argue with yourself. You ain't got to worry about you coming home and yourself hurting yourself. No. This is why you don't listen to married people, because they're not going to tell you all these things right here. They're not going to tell you the truth. A lot of these men, they're not going to tell you that their wives are miserable, but they're playing off because, look at me, I'm married. And they're trying to shame other men into doing it. Well, the fact is, it's just a bad deal, bad proposition.
Romanticized still, and that two people who come from dismantled backgrounds are going to mesh lives together. And like you said, try to figure out how to navigate it. It will never work that way, because I have no benefit of being with you from the mere fact that if it's something we need to acquire moving forward, who else do I talk to besides you? You don't got no mama, no auntie, no grandma, and everybody is doing their own thing. So that's what I see to be the biggest issue. I don't think people individually don't have discipline. I think people still, because we're having conversations, they want this thing to work. But life in itself, especially on two people, is exacerbated. It's supposed to be spread across the demographic of your ecosystem. And because we don't have it, that's why marriage is struggling, in my opinion.
Bingo.
Yeah. Well, there's a point in time where it's optimal to marry a woman, but lately that optimal time is geared towards her individuality and pursuit of stability on her own. So whenever a man gets a chance to marry her, she done ran through her 30s, and it's just the value exchange is kind of deflated at that point.
And I think
the ideal
woman
situation to get her is whenever she's young and she's, you know what I'm saying, more impressionable, fertile, and all those things. But a lot of women are coming off of the assembly line, pursuing their own individual stability and fucking running the streets and shit in hot girl summers. So like now you as a man in society, you got to pick them whenever their pussy lips is hanging too low or whatever you want to call it. It's not an optimal time to select them. So it's better to just go with transaction, and just because the amount of peace you got to sacrifice at that point, the value she bring at that point don't compensate for the lack thereof.
She's for the streets. She's for the streets. But bottom line, what we have here, gentlemen, is a bunch of women running wild, talking about they want their freedom. They want to be free from their man. If they're in a marriage, which if they're in a relationship or marriage, they want, they want to wear the pants. They want to run the show now. And I still got to guarantee they're going to stay. Women, sexual liberation is the worst thing that ever happened to women. Because now look where we at. Don't listen. And you see everybody trying to explain, well, you know, they're going to do this. This is why we don't do that. We're going to listen, baby, come back on in home. Come back to me. Come back to daddy. And she like, nigga, please. It's over. We have to live life to maximize our happiness as men. We do. I think men should invest in short-term relationships, not long-term. Short-term gratification, right, to me, is optimal. Because long-term gratification is nearly impossible. So, you know, I think a woman's good for 6 months to a year of optimal compatibility. Past that, you're risking it. It becomes risky. I don't think that these women are their juice is not worth their squeeze. And do not listen to these married men, because married men gonna come try to tell you, look at me, but they're not telling you what's going on behind closed doors. But remember, they said the saying, misery loves company. So the married man wants you to be miserable right with them. They want you to be miserable right with them. So they're gonna tell you, no, you need to get married. No, you need to get married. No, you need to get married. And they'll laugh at you when you get divorced. Oh man, you should have picked better. Right? They're gonna laugh at you. We're laughing at you. You should have picked better. You ain't him. That's all they do. Assign blame to you for her living her full autonomy.
It shows the problem with a lot of modern women in America. I'm not going to say everywhere. American modern women. I think it shows it's being exposed by a lot of men are moving away from marriage, because it's like women are monetizing something that shouldn't even be something that you monetize, which is like emotion. It's like you're trying to. I'm not saying you. I'm just talking in general. I mean, you may be speaking on behalf of a demographic. I don't know. I'm just talking to people that's watching the show. But I'm just saying that mentality, that an act of love, as soon as we have a disagreement, now turns into a cashier's check.
I just want to say one thing. When you said, if you go back to when Evander Holyfield and his wife got divorced, she tried to say the cooking and cleaning. I quit being a doctor to take care of the kids. The judge gave her exactly what the prenup said or whatever. She wanted more. She thought that, I quit my career for him. But the thing that got me, when you say you get to have, because you helped him build a business, that's where that's going to come in at. And being a person that's divorced, they're not going to worry about you cooked and clean. They're not worried about that in the courtroom. I am divorced. That's not what they worried about. They worried about with the money part. What fair share of the money. I know it sounds unfair, but cooking and cleaning, that's being an adult. Cooking and cleaning for your spouse, that's what you both do. You can't go and, like they say, put money on that. Oh, now my cooking and cleaning worth $25 million. Let's divide all the times.
If you can hire someone to do it, and
but that's not in the But that's not in the law. Yeah, but your thing, your fight would be if that. I mean, of course, we don't want you to get no divorce, okay? No, but I'm just saying. But I was saying, if you had to fight that in court, okay, that's not going to get you no money. But saying I helped this man build his business from the ground up, that is what's going to get you. Because I'm gonna tell you, I've dealt with lawyers, them some dirty motherfuckers. Don't go in there. Oh, I just cooked and cleaned for him. You freaking kidding me?
This shit is stressful. All right, what? I want your money. She said, I want my money and his money. To the judge. Take it, white man. Take it, judge. Take the money from him and give it to me. This is why you stay alone, stay single. And you only got to have this work. Dude, you're already gonna have a bunch of other worries in your life. You're already gonna have a bunch of things that that may not be healthy, but you don't need to add something that's even more unhealthier. There's no need to sell the house. Keep your peace. Keep yourself in a comfortable position. If a woman want to deal with you for a little bit, put a time limit on it. Give her 6 months to a year, and you need to be upfront with her. Say, hey, I'm not going to marry you. That's not how I roll. I'm just enjoying you. I like you in the role that we're in now. See you once a week, twice a week, maybe, and that's it. Please don't be begging me to see me every day and calling me every day. No, because this is just a bad deal. We have a tendency to do that. She's calling, she's texting, we texting back, and we're feeding into this thing, and the next thing you know, she's leaving us because she's not happy no more. Women, all they look to do is to destroy. They would destroy everything for their happiness. Period. And they're going to continue. So I don't know why we're having all these conversations. Well, it's good. I like the information so I can share with you guys my sentiments. But these women have by no means have any intentions on turning back the clock. They ain't going to push forward. They want dominance. They want men to submit to them, cater to them. They're going to continue to be self-centered. And when their happiness is compromised, they're burning the house down. And this is a fact. Thank you for coming. I'm going to end the show. Hit the like button, share and subscribe. Till next time.